Hey students, welcome to Lab 3. And today we're talking about a couple things. We're going to apply a um, some branding to your header. Now the header is on every page. It's usually all the same. The only place that the header changes is in the checkout, and we'll be talking about the checkout at another time. But it's really important that you brand the header with with the so that when customers come to the site, they they recognize that immediately. So that includes your logo, your colors, the layout, and the of your menu and other things like that, so that they really see that and they're able to understand what it is that they're supposed to be doing. So we're going to start right off into our theme. So go to online store and themes, and then we're going to edit our theme. All right, and this is the header up here. Your header is relatively small, and just for your own information for the future or when you're building, you don't want the header to be too big, because on small screens it could take up a very good portion of the space, and you don't want that. You want people to see your products, your services, or whatever you're selling. And if they can't see it because the header's so big, maybe down to like this area here, they would have a really tough time understanding. So we don't put a lot of pictures in the header. Your logo is going to be in the header. This is a headline up here, announcement bar. We'll talk a little bit about that, but we want to brand the header here. So as we go into as you can see here, we're on the home page. It's got the header, and what I'm going to start off with is just click on the header, and you can see that I've got the logo and a menu, and you can see those highlight as I hover over them, and that's where I can change those things. When I do, we'll be talking about menus later. So you should start off with just a basic menu here. And what we're going to see over on the right side here is, where do we want the logo? And you're free to just explore. So center logo, that's very popular. I've never really seen the logo on the right side very often. Usually you want it on the left or the center, but up to you, your brand, your message, all that. The menu, left, center, so you can have it in the center. This is actually more popular if you don't focus on search. So if your site isn't like search oriented, a center menu can be good. And I'm going to leave mine on the left. Just going to go traditional, and also then we can have it. You can see this, that it could actually go be below. That makes your header taller, and I'm not a fan of that. But maybe in some sites that would be a good look, especially if you had something in the middle here that you really wanted to display. But I'm going to push it right up into here. So you can see there's lots of options for configuration, and it's very simple to do. Now, the search bar, we have is a search icon right now. Now, if you go to Amazon.com, you're going to see that search is prominent right in the middle. So I always want search on my site, but maybe I want it to be the first thing in the site, and or maybe I want it to be on the bottom of the site. Um, for this purpose, I'm going to have it on the right hand side, and I'm going to have it be an icon. And there's some other opportunities sometimes with search. I don't know if this site has it. Maybe you can explore it and find it, but to actually make it exploded, and so that the search bar is right there. When we talk about going through all of the different configurations, localization, that's country. So is it do you want a different header for different things? Do you want a flag up there? Language selector. So if you have multiple languages, you can do language selector. And then we get down into here. This is where the appearance is. So scroll down to appearance, and you can have it be the page or the full width. So page is going to be constrained a little bit on the right and left on wide screens, but for most laptops, it's going to fit just fine. Full is going to be full width and push out to the side. Most websites want it to be page. They want these to be constrained so there's not a massive amount of white space in between. The height is standard, but we can go compact. So if we wanted to, we could make it even skinnier. I'm going to stick with standard here. Sticky header. So sticky header means as I scroll, did you see how that it transforms? So I can continue to see my menu, my cart, log in, and search, even though I'm scrolling down. So that's something that you may or may not want. If you have product pages that have, very image oriented and everything like that, you might not want a sticky header. So, you can have that set to never. Border thickness, if you want to border around your products here. Now, here's where we get to color scheme. So remember when we talked about setting up your brand for colors? I've created a scheme that's a little bit different here, and I'm going to just explore what it would look like. So because my colors have this teal color in it, what would it look like if I just had that as my color? And I kind of like it. I kind of like having a little color on the top there. I can also do a transparent background. And this is kind of interesting. Notice how I can make it transparent. Now, this is another time where you'd see, like, if I'm very image oriented and my logo and my menu are appropriate. So in this case, it's not really appropriate because on most backgrounds, I'm not going to be able to see my logo, and I'm going to probably have contrast problems with my menu. So again, you might like it and see, that's what you want for your brand, but I'm going to take and do that, and I'm not going to have it. And then you can actually make the transparent background only on the PDP or the collection page. So in those cases, you may be like, when I get to the PDP, I'm okay with the transparent. Or maybe I only want it on the homepage, but when I get to the PDP, I want it to have a menu with my background color here. So that's how we're going to set up your um, your header as far as configuring it, making it look on brand. And if you want yours bigger, by all means, go ahead and make it bigger, smaller. I can't wait to see what everybody does there. You do also have an announcement bar, and this is where you've seen like things like where your coupon codes go and your flash sales and things like that. And in this case, we're going to go down here. We go to the announcement bar. We've got you can have multiple blocks so that they can rotate. Your appearance could be page or full. Color scheme. So I've currently got it black on black with white, but if I wanted to, I could put a different tint in here. This is another reason you might want to create a new color scheme too. You might be like, oh, I want to create a color scheme so that it's transparent with black writing, or maybe I just want to carry my color on up there and not have a bar. Probably not, but you can see that there's lots of different options here, and you can always create a new one. So I'm going to stick with the black. It's really got a lot of contrast and sets off my color here. Divider thickness, how big do I want my divider? You can see that just threw a bigger divider in there. And, you can have a big one or a little one. And padding. Padding is going to give us, some space. You can see here, like, do I want more space at the top, or do I want no space at the top? You got to have a little. So I'm just going to go with 10 pixels of padding. And at the bottom, 10 pixels of padding. Now that's the distance between the text and the border. And that way I can make this height bigger or smaller. And we're not talking about the size of the text yet. We'll get to that in the announcement block. But this is going to be the spacing around the text. So next, I'm going to go to my announcement block here, and you can see where you can edit your content. I'm going to make it bold. You can see it kind of bolded it a little bit there. I'm going to add a link. So I can add a link to my products. I'll just put a link to a product in there, but you could put it to anything, pages, or even an external link if you wanted to go somewhere else. The font, you pick your font here. You pick your size, the weight of it, and then your letter spacing. So you can have, there's a big difference actually when you have it tighter like that. So if you have some text, then you want it to all fit on a line, you might have to go tight. And then if you go looser, it puts more space or kerning in between each of the letters. And then this is kind of it does transformation on your text. So even if I have text coming in here that's case like cased or just normal like this, lowercase. You can have it always be uppercase. So then if somebody was putting something in and they forgot that you wanted it all uppercase and they put in some lowercase letters, it would transform it into uppercase. So these are just the basic tools that you get with putting together an announcement block. There are many different options for announcement blocks or announcement bars that you can do with other themes, and or you can customize it. But for this theme, we just have the single announcement bar. All right. Last thing is we're going to go and we could add a section. So we could add another announcement bar or a divider, or you can generate. We're going to have a class very soon that talks about AI and what you can do with AI in Shopify. If you want to explore it yourself, go ahead and explore it. You can generate by telling it what you would like to see, and then you can you can see how that populates into the site. So there's going to be a lot of options there. We're not quite there yet. We're going to have a whole class on where to use AI throughout the Shopify site. But if I wanted to add another announcement bar, I could add one at the bottom here, and I can add another announcement and another link. So let's just say that this one's very static. I just use this one to kind of tell people what my brand's about. But this one is where I want to put a coupon code. So we're running a sale, and I want to put a coupon code there. One of the cool things about the way that Shopify works is if you hover over this. So if I see this, I can trash it, I can delete it, or I can just turn it off for now. So if I want to create my coupon, I create that in my announcement bar. I might turn it on just to see how it looks. Oh yeah, that looks right. And then I can just turn it off. So on the day that I want to launch it, I simply come in here and turn it on, and now my coupon code. I've already tested it, and I don't have to create it at that time. So it's a time saver when the day comes, and it means that I could give this to somebody else to do to take that part on. Go create that, test it, and then turn it off. I'll go in and check it and then turn it back on. So that's creating your header. I'm going to save this. Always remember to save. And we've got our header all branded out and our logo in and everything like that. So that's part of the assignment today, is making sure that your header is all correct and your brand, your content, your fonts, all that stuff is good. Now we're going to go to products. So go back to our site here. We're going to go to products, and you all have a single product that's already built for you. I built a custom hoodie, and we're going to just talk really briefly about the products, about the information in the products, and then we'll go ahead and create a new product. So obviously everything with e-commerce revolves around the product. There's no reason to have e-commerce if you don't sell a product. Now, products can be anything from like a sweatshirt or hoodie like this, all the way up to what I'm going to show you, which is what I'm doing is a 3D printed product. It could be a technical product. It could be parts and accessories. It could be a car that you're configuring, or a bicycle that you're configuring. So lots of different opportunities here for products. You choose what you want. So the first part is the title. You want the title here to be the title that people see on the collection page as they're browsing. It's also the title that they might search for. So the closer the title is to a search function, this would be what you want to have in here. So it's descriptive, but it's not too long. If you look at Amazon, you'll see that Amazon titles are very long. That's because of the SEO, or search engine optimization, on Amazon. That long titles reward with better search placement. For user experience, we usually want to have a smaller title because on the collection page, you want it to be seen and be able to be read. But that doesn't mean that we can't have a longer title for something like Meta, and we'll show you where that goes. In the description here, This is what you're going to see on the product page. This is a description of your product. Images, we obviously want to have lots and lots of images, as many as possible. I highly recommend at least 4 to 9 images on your product and a video if you can do that. So if you noticed here, we have a video of
Let's go Stout! Yeah!
that I created, and that's I've put into the picture gallery here. We also have a category here. This is not categories like what it displays at and in on your site. This is categories that are related to um, shipping and taxation. So if it's clothing, for example, in Minnesota, there's no tax on clothing. And so that means that this would be a non-taxable item if we charge sales tax in Minnesota. And same thing for like food and other items that may or may not be taxable. You want to make sure that they're categorized correctly. And that's why this is called category, and that the way that you view products is called a collection of products. We'll get into that when we get into collections. We also have variants. So products can have variants, and we'll be setting up variants in our products. For example, think of variants as in shoes or in clothing like this. So in shoes, you have color, size, and width. So 3 variants, 3 options. You can add a different option by clicking the button here, and it'll add a different option. So if this was a shoe and we wanted to add maybe we want to add fabric as an option, and a nice suggestion, we can add a different variant of fabric. So maybe each of these hoodies comes in 2 different types of fabric, and I want to give those as options. I'm not going to do that, but in this case, we had small, medium, large, and extra large, and the colors are gray and navy. So you can see that I made my options here, and that fits with what we usually see in products, right? So go ahead and you'll be making products, and I want you to make sure that you're going to add a variant to those products. It could be size, could be color, could be material, could be anything that you could select. As we go through here, you're going to see that then your variants will pop up down here. So in the size small, we have 2 variants. So we have gray and navy. Inside of here, we have the gray one, and if you notice, I put the gray picture on it. And then that'll align, so when I switch to the gray color, everything I see in the pictures will be gray. It'll change to gray. Same with navy. So you'll see that you'll be able to add those pictures by clicking the icon here and adding the picture. Over here, we're going to put in our pricing and our inventory. Got to make sure that there's inventory on everything and that everything has a price. So you can edit these globally by simply clicking here and bulk edit. Oh, I got to discard my changes. And going to bulk edit, and I can edit all of the different options here. I can edit all the pricing. So if I wanted to make a pricing change here, this is one way to do it. I want to go from 29, I'm going to go 19.99, and then I'm going to drag that all the way down. It's going to change all my pricing to 19.99. Also, if I want to add more inventory, I can add more inventory. Let's see here. I'm going to save that. And we're going to go back. So now, go down here. My pricing is all $19.99. I was able to change the price. And that's another way you can set the pricing if you want to just select all and bulk edit. If you want to add inventory quickly, you can simply edit quantities, and I could say apply available quantity to all selected variants. And I just got a shipment of 10 more per. Save. And now I've edited it to 10. So it was 50, now it went down to 10. If I go into here, I can add them individually also. Some suggested values down here on meta fields for the product. So colors, necklines, sleeve length, and target gender. You can accept these and it can put them in, or you can leave them out. This is AI. This is one of the AI tools that's being used. I'm going to just say you can or you don't have to accept these. I'm just going to accept them all. It's going to go into the category meta fields. These are meta fields so that I could sort or filter the products by these meta fields. We'll get on into that in a bit. So now I want to talk about meta fields. We're going to talk about how to create a meta field, and think of a meta field a um, as a it's a feature or an adjective or a specification for a product, and we want to make the meta fields very specific. So, for example, I wouldn't want a combination meta field. So I wouldn't want a meta field um, uh, that's something like color size or anything like that. We want things like very, very unique to the product. So for this product, I started off by making a meta field called material, and it's not going to apply to this sweater, this hoodie, but it'll apply to my next product that I'm making. And we'll go into to talk about those. But imagine you're sorting and you're creating sorting functions for your products. So, for example, I would never want color and material to be in the same meta field because I want only cotton products and I want also blue cotton products. And maybe I even want bottoms, not tops, as I'm sorting. So each of those would need to be a meta field. So, for example, if material might be cotton, polyester, blend, wool, so on and so forth. What we'd want to have is you select your cotton, then you would see that there's products that are tops and bottoms, and then I want bottoms, and then even in bottoms I might have shorts or pants or skirts, and so each of those things might have its own meta field. So for example, bottoms would be a meta field, and it would have underneath it pants, skirts, and shorts. As we get into it, I'm going to show you a little bit more, but always think of like the lowest common denominator for your meta fields. So it's a group of characteristics about a product that are individual and not combined. I'm going to go and create one here in just a minute. Going back up here, we got our status. This is active. Where is it published? Published in the online store. Got to make sure that everything that you want to see on your site is active and in online store. This is statistics. So if we had some sales, you'd see sales here. What type of product is it? It's a hoodie. Who's the vendor? You fill that in. UW-Stout. Could be anybody, right? Could be Asics, could be Nike, could be Eddie Bauer. I don't know, but it's the vendor. What collection is it in? It's in the homepage collection right now. If it's in a different collection, you'd see that here. And then what's the tags? It has shirt for tags. Now, tags are descriptions of the product, and these could be more combined. So this could be a stout hoodie. And this is something that I could have in here because I want, if somebody searches for stout hoodie on my site, I want it to pick out these products. And that's a real difference between tags and meta fields. Is this is more free form, and it's think of it as a bucket of descriptions, whereas your meta fields are very specific. So sorting by tags is really hard because it's all in one bucket. So I could sort by tags. The problem is, what if I'm, in clothing, for example, and I was only sorting by tags, it would just have a big long list of tags. And one of them here would be shirt, and another one would be hoodie, and another one would be stout hoodie. That doesn't make for a great experience. It's not organized. And so that's why we don't use tags for filtering or sorting of products, but we can use them to create collections. So I could say I want all shirts in a shirt collection and use the tag. I can also do that by going down to our meta field. And if I have the meta field that was tops, and I say all things with tops in this collection. Last thing is the theme template. So this is back from our theme, and we're going to leave it on default. You can create more templates for your products. So that example might be, if I have a product that is a shirt, I want to display it a certain way. But I also sell pencils, and I want school supplies to have a different look and feel than clothing. So I could have a clothing template and a school supplies template, and that could show things very differently, and that's why we would use those. All right, when we come back, um, we're going to talk about meta fields. All right, we're back, and we're going to start talking about meta fields. So that's these product meta fields and the way that we're going to sort and categorize and collectionize all your products. And so I'm going to, from this product, I'm going to go and click the view all. And you can see up here, I'm on the Stout DMT custom hoodie, and here's my product meta fields, and you can see what I've got in here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go in the settings to create some new meta fields, because I have to create them for my new product. And I'm going to go to settings, meta fields and meta objects, go to product meta fields, and I'm going to add a new definition. And remember, I'm making 3D printed products, right? So I added a meta field already that was materials, and now I want to create a meta field that is going to be, let's see, type. So what type of 3D printed product are we gonna print here? And in this case, I want to start off with this is what I'm going to do is like what's kind of type, like, so for example, automotive, sporting goods, home and kitchen, maybe repair parts, things like that that people would use to kind of whittle their way down in a collection or sort things in a collection. So that's where we're going to start with type. And the second thing I need to do is choose what type of meta field it is. And there's all these different types of meta fields. So single line text, multi-line text, a number, an integer. It could be a file that I could have. It could be an image or video. It could be a post or a collection. So like I can specify things like products in a meta field, and then uh, if I say choose from one of these products, and then that's the products in the meta field, I can use that. For this particular one, we're going to go with text. So I can just type in text, and this is going to be a choice list. So I want you guys all to create a choice list single line text meta field for your products. And what does a choice list mean? It means that I'm going to add specific words, types in this case, and that way I'm organizing it. If I don't and I make it free form, somebody could type in the wrong thing or not capitalize something or not space it correctly or misspell it, and it would come up as an additional validation. So what I'm going to put in here is what type of product is this? And so I'm going to put up auto sporting goods, kitchen, bath, uh, appliances, I can put in I can make this list as long as I want. And then when I build a product, I can say, what type does this fit into? And if I'm making a product for sporting goods, that's a sporting goods product. If I'm making a product or buying a product for bathrooms and kitchens or whatever, I'm going to choose those different things. And so I'm going to just keep with these right now. And I'll delete that one. And then down here, I need to select on this the filter, the product list using this. Yes, I do want to use this as filters and use this as a condition for smart collections. Make sure you select this and you turn it on. Otherwise, you go to try and create a collection from it and you won't be able to. So I'm going to save that. All right. So now I've created 2 meta fields. One of mine is material. So what type of material are my 3D parts made out of? And I've created one called the type, product type. Where is that product going to be used? All right, so now that I've created that, I'm going to create a product. Go back to products. I'm going to go up here, add a new product. I'm going to call this snowboard holder. And I'm going to add a picture of it. And where is it? There it is. All right. So here's the picture of my snowboard holder. That gets I'm going to 3D print. And we'll put in here, pack of 2 snowboard holders for keeping your board on the wall and hanging your helmet. Okay, so in the description, I'm going to put as much description as I think it should have. Generally speaking, it should be at least a paragraph or 2 description, and your title should be more descriptive. So, for example, this is okay, but it would be snowboard holder for wall mounting of snowboards. And the better I do here, the better search options we're going to see. This is a $19.99 product. And I have a couple variations on it. And I'm going to, so yeah, I got that price in there. I do have some variants. And my variants are in color. I've got white. Add another option. Just a second here, do color. And I'm going to add a color. And I can do navy, gray, black, pink, purple, red, because I've got all those different colors. I'm going to put that as done. So I've got my colors in there. You can see I got all the different products here. This is how I would add an image. So I'm going to add an image of the white one. And if I had other images, I would add those in here of those different colors. I'm going to add products. I'm going to go like this. I'm going to edit quantities. And I've got 100 of each. And now you can see I've got the price, I've got the quantities, got my category meta fields, color, my product meta fields, type. So this is a sporting good, selecting that. So now we're in the meta fields, that's my type, it's a sporting good product. And what material is it made out of? And we're going to go with ABS. So I'm going to choose that's material it's made out of. And back up here, type is sporting goods winter. The vendor is my store. Type in whatever you want. And my tags, I'm going to put this one as snowboarding accessory. All right. So again, active. It's in the online store. I've got a picture. I've got some text. Getting started with this, so got some good information in there. And now my product is saved. Okay, so now after you make your products, we're going to create a collection. And I want to show you guys what the difference is between a smart collection and a manual collection. You're going to, for this lab, you're going to create products and collections along with meta fields for those products. So I go to collections. Over here in the menu, it's under products. I'm going to add a new collection. And I'm going to call this sporting goods. But add my description right here about it, and you should go ahead and create that. But for this purpose, we're just going to leave mine blank. And you have the two different collection types. Manual. In manual, I can browse. Ah, yes, that's the product right there. I can add it in. It's going to add that product in manually. Why would you want to create a manual collection is if I'm running a sale and I want very specific products on there, I want them to show together, maybe bundled or accessory products together. I want to show them on a special collection page. But otherwise, I want to make smart collections. I want collections where anytime I add a sporting good, it adds it to this collection. So you can do it by either using all or any condition. So if you use all conditions, it would be like it must have this and that. If it's any condition, it could be this or that. So all things that are this and all things that are that. I know that's not or, but you can experiment with this. So anyways, I don't want to use a flag. I want to use, or a tag, I want to use a type is equal to sporting goods. So now I've got my type is equal to sporting goods. When I save this, it's going to populate it with products that have a meta field with the type sporting goods. So now you can see why you want to make these very specific, because I want to be able to categorize them by these things. I want to make collections with them. And when I create a new sporting goods product and I go type equals sporting goods, I want it to appear in this collection so that I don't have to come here and do that work myself. I want to make it automated. So it's really good to use smart collections with the exception of special landing pages, sales, or bundles of products that don't go together. So if I wanted to make a grouping of products that included things that were sporting goods and housewares, I could bring that all together. And that way I wouldn't be able to do it as just sporting goods and housewares, even the all conditions, because it would be all products then, wherein I really just want 2 or 3 products that go together. So that's what you would want to do a manual when you would want to do a manual one. Now I can also add an image. So I can add an image to this. And for example, I could add my logo, or something else. I can upload an image and then that represents the category or the collection, I'm sorry. So I can have an image. And then again, down here is my template. Right now we only have one collection template. So that's okay. We'll use the default one. So now if I view this, you're going to see I'm in sporting goods. Here's my product. And if I had more products, I would be able to sort them. And you can see how that shows up on the site. We'll get into customizing the collection page and the PDP page later. All right, that's collections, products, and meta fields. Also, today we talked about branding your header, and I think that's about it. So the assignment, create 10 products this week in your storefront, and they need to have 2 meta fields each. So you need at least 2 different meta fields, and then create 2 collections separating those products into groups. So you create your products first, create your meta fields about the products that you have, then create a collection into two collections and divide those products up appropriately. So really excited to see what you guys come up with for products and what you're selling. And next week we'll be talking about some more stuff.